Welcome to the Nordic Mythology podcast. I'm Daniel Farrand under the company Horns of Odin. As always, before we jump into the show, I do have to plug our Patreon. I say it every single week. It's how we keep the lights on. It's how we keep making the show week in, week out, and hopefully educating people on the topic of the Viking Age. If you like what we do, head over to Patreon/Nordic Mythology podcast. Starts from £3 a month, and with that you get all the Q&A episodes we do. You get the entire back catalogue at this point, over 250 episodes you can't find anywhere else. You have the Viking smut episodes that we will be recording later today, the erotica, amateur erotica, myself, Mags and Claire. They're always a lot of fun. They're a little bit silly, but we always have a good time. So you want to check them out, like I say, head over to Patreon. If you can't support, obviously financially, just a 5-star rating, positive review wherever you get your podcast. We just appreciate anything. Even a simple comment is always maybe just boosts us up on that algorithm. But yeah, let's get into today's show. I'm really excited about this. I think this episode for me, and I'll get into that in a little bit, comes at quite a good time, because I've been in probably like a downward negative headspace just in the last recent month, I would say. So I think this very wholesome fantasy fitness creator who emphasizes the importance of mental health, his approach to fitness is to make it fun and approachable for those adventurers who want to train, who want to train for the field of battle. His mission is to create a healthy, inclusive, welcoming community of nerds who strive to better themselves and help others do the same. And that gentleman is Mr. Tank Tolman. Tank.
Hammer and hello, my friends.
Do you feel the need to use the accent all the time?
I don't know. Sometimes, maybe. I'm Canadian. For those that don't know, I don't live in a village in Sovereign Guard in Skyrim. I'm Canadian, so yes, it is an accent. So sometimes I feel the need to put it on, sometimes not. But if I'm doing something like this, obviously it could be a bit exhausting to try and keep it up.
I bet, yeah. Well, when I first saw your videos, I used to think, I wonder what his actual voice is like. I used to just but it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
I don't know. It's part of me expected you to have a really a squeaky voice, maybe.
Well, it's like, yes, it's an accent, and yes, it's putting on a costume, but the whole part, it's an extension of myself. And I think the reason it is able to resonate with so many people is because it kind of breaks down a barrier of realism that kind of lets people accept the message a little more. I don't know how to explain it, but because I'm in costume and there's an accent, it's kind of a fantasy setting. It just kind of lets the message hit home a little bit better than not. So I don't know why it works. It works, and it's authentic. It's from the heart. It's genuine. It's not like a full show, if that makes sense.
It does. And Mags is grinning to herself because she just sent me a text and said I forgot to introduce her, which I did. Actually, I was so excited to get into it that I forgot to introduce our in-house archaeologist and my co-host, the lovely Mags. Mags, I've done that a couple of weeks recently. I'm so sorry.
It's honestly, to me at this point, it's just a fun little game, because I'm also so excited to talk to every week's guest, and specifically you also, Tank, today, because I also know how much Dan's been looking forward to this episode, and I was like, oh my god, he's switching it up, just doing the guest first. I love this. And then as he kept asking follow-up questions, I was like, no, he straight up forgot to introduce me.
I was looking right at you as well, but
it was fun. No, but it's genuinely so lovely to have you here, Tank. I'm very excited to talk to you. And I know Dan has been as well. Because it's fun to do more kind of, we do a lot of different stuff with scholars and academics of different sorts, and also a lot of craft-based creators. But it's also fun to do, more of it's kind of funny when it comes to historical reinterpretation, right? And social media, because it's kind of a new field in a way, even though it's, dealing with something taking inspiration from something that's older, it's kind of a new phenomenon. So that's why I'm particularly excited to talk to you.
Yeah, and I think my representation is definitely more fantastical based. I'm not
Oh,
trying to
sure.
be historically accurate by
But
any means, and I think the viewers, well, most of the viewers understand that.
okay, well that's good. I mean, to put kind of the base level here, I am an archaeologist specializing in the Viking Age. That being said, one of my favorite movies from the time when I was a teenager, and funnily enough, this was before I even considered studying archaeology, one of my favorite movies of all time is How to Train Your Dragon. And I would not say that that is particularly historically accurate.
No, mine was 13th Warrior. That kind of ages me a little bit, but
I know what, I've still never seen 13th Warrior, and I don't know how I've missed it. When did 13th Warrior come out? Because I feel it's my
late 90s or early 2000s.
that's so I'm 36, so that's right in my wheelhouse as well. And I don't know how. Yeah, 1999. I don't know how I've missed that and just kind of skirted back. 'Cause it fits in. I was into all the action movies when I was like of that age. The
Yeah,
Jean
yeah.
Claude Van Damme's and the blood spots, all this stuff. I was into that. I don't know how I've missed 13th Warrior. It's just
It's worth a watch, that's for sure.
yeah. So at the start of the show, I touched on kind of how I think these things come around when you kind of need them the most, and I say that because I felt myself recently slipping into a place with social media where I'm getting caught up in the public narrative of the things, the current things. We're not going to touch on them, but the things that are going on in the space, and you get caught in the comments, you get caught looking at things, you get annoyed, and then the algorithm feeds you more of it. And I felt this last month in particular, obviously really current events only have just happened, but just even before that, this month I found myself been fed more kind of clickbaity argument stuff, and I've found myself responding to it, but also catching myself on my phone a lot more. Kind of just if I get a spare second, I'm looking at it and almost thriving and seeking it out like a little negative gremlin, just wanting to find this negativity because it hits this thing inside of you, doesn't it? There's this endorphin rush, I guess, that you get from seeing people have these arguments and these whatever is going on. And then today I tried to do research on our guest, so I got to sit down and scroll through your Instagram in a very wholesome manner, and it's so different to everything else that's out there, or certainly what comes across my feed most of the time. And I just felt happier and lighter, and just very much how social media should be. You've got the little videos with the kitten. Is it Louis the cat's name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
recent addition. Yeah.
Yeah. So you and Louis, but then even going back to your older stuff, just the fun. It's just fun. It is what it is, and I felt that kind of like lift off me through the day. This kind of just niceness entering back in. So I had to kind of give you your props for that, just on a personal level. Just that very personal, small instance of this last month and kind of going through today had a positive impact.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the whole, like, social media is designed to keep you scrolling, keep you looking, keep you engaged, and one of the best way to do that is with rage, trying to get people arguing back and forth. And my whole mission with my page is to try and get a break from that. So, like, break up the doom scroll, make people feel good, get a little bit of comfort, and get the rest they need. It's a hard thing when like, especially as a content creator, what gets attention, what gets clicks. So even though some of my wholesome videos, they don't go like viral, but it's something that my community needs, and hopefully that they see it when they need it. So it's hard to try and balance keeping things positive when the world is thriving on negativity, especially in the social media space. And even with like the whole rage farms that try and like automatic artificial intelligence that just will, like, I don't know how to explain it. it's like the algorithms are feeding you arguments, and I
Mhm.
just don't want to be a part of that. And by keeping that off my page, I know that my viewers have a safe space to always feel welcome and accepted, and they're not going to find that here.
Mhm.
I love that so
Yeah.
much because it's gotta be like you touched on it, but it's gotta be something that you very consciously keep in mind because everything is geared towards, I wouldn't necessarily say the opposite, but like you said, the way that engagement is currently being farmed, that's not exactly, the margins of which creators are um kind of encouraged to produce media about, right? So props to you, man, for really so actively resisting.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like when certain events happen in like news spaces or horrible things happen, I won't engage with what happened. What I will do is gear my wholesome content in a way that will comfort people that need it in that moment. So I'm not going to address what's going on because I'm not here to cause division. I'm here to welcome people with a big hug, not push them away or make them feel rejected because I chose one side or the other. That's not what I'm here to do.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I get that, and that's what we all need. That kind of impartiality sometimes, where there's that. It doesn't matter if things are if you're right or wrong. Everybody needs a hug and that kind of just space to just decompress and know that it's okay. And that was a beautiful thing that hit me. I saw a comment today on one of our posts advertising this episode, and the gentleman said he was like, "Oh, I used to think Tank's videos were quite cringy," and then he was like, "But then I saw one about mental health and like how it's okay and keep going." And he's like, and it really hit me at a moment when I needed it, and I was like, "That's such a special thing to do." And that's just one person who's seen our post and then commented. So the amount I can't imagine your inbox of just heartfelt messages from where he has spoken to people, because anybody who's been in that position, me included, I I know that I do this. I don't know if everybody does do this, but certainly when I was at my lowest and I was struggling, those things that kind of picked me up in those moments I needed, I always reached out to the person or to the content creator, and I never expected a reply, but I would say, just so you know, thank you for this. In this moment I needed it. Just appreciation, just kind of just to say, and I guess to put that out there, and hopefully that you get the recognition kind of that you deserve for it in that moment.
Yeah, I get hundreds of comments and messages a day to that extent. And it's as a creator that has 6+ million followers across platforms,
That's so insane.
it boggles my mind. Like I can't even fathom that. Um, but to all the people out there, I do try and at least read all the comments or read the DMs, but because there's so many of you, I can't respond to everything or respond to those DMs. Just know that I read them and that they are very much appreciated. That's one of the main reasons that keeps me going, keeps me positive, keeps me knowing that I'm making a difference and helping people. So I do appreciate that.
Mhm.
I just can't have thousands of
I know.
conversations a
It's
day. I like, I'm a husband. I've got 3 little girls, and yes, this is my job, but that
yeah.
would like take everything.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I
That would
struggle
take
to keep
everything.
up with the
Yeah.
conversations just with my regular friends, so I
Yes. Yeah.
totally see what you're saying. Like, I have no problem understanding that.
and I think it takes from watching your video, you're clearly a very emotional gentleman. You care and you have a huge heart and empathy. So even just to read through those messages, it takes something from you. It takes an emotional response just to read them, let alone then to because you care, so you would want to curate an answer for every reply, and that's just not possible without completely draining your own
Yeah.
battery, because it's just such a personal thing, and it's such a deep topic that you want to give that respect, but you simply just can't to everyone, unfortunately.
Yeah. And to that point, it's like, because a lot of those DMs can be really heavy.
Oh, yeah, I bet, yeah.
Like, basically talk to me off the ledge, and various forms of what that edge looks like. So yeah, it trying to respect that they DM'd me that, and with acknowledgement of just reading it. But as soon as you answer, it's like, now it's that weird parasocial relationship where they see me as a friend, and I know all my followers are friends, but I've never met you.
Yeah.
I've never met face to face, so
it's
a strange world to navigate that I never anticipated.
I completely get that. And speaking to people on here that, you know, similar influences, it's that when you crack that door open a little bit, you start those conversations, then they keep going, and it's not that people don't, you know, I think sometimes people don't realize that they're not the only person, and it's so big you can't have a 50 message back and forth with everyone, because it is just kind of zaps your energy, and you have to have that for your family as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I do read them, and it's very appreciated. And I do love getting those messages, because it shows that what I'm doing does have a positive impact and is helping people. And that's the whole reason I got into it. Like, I first joined, I think, TikTok, which is the first platform where I really saw significant growth in community. I think it was January 2021. And I was just like the typical personal trainer, like putting out workout videos. And then all of a sudden, because I live in a small, very conservative town where there's not like a D&D community or people that like have play video games or whatever. So I was always like kind of a closeted nerd up until this point. And then I went on TikTok, and I'm like, wow, there's a whole community of people that play D&D, or there's people that like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or all of that. And then like merging those worlds together with fantasy and fitness, I saw one post that was like, well, why don't we have training to like fight orcs or dragons? And I'm like, I've got ADHD, and I've trained and got education and trained in all these different modalities, like CrossFit and bodybuilding and mixed martial arts. And I wrestled in high school and played football and rugby and wrestling. And I think I had ADHD when it came to like the whole fitness realm. So I'm like, I can make fun workouts that this community needs, and kind of give those people that first step into fitness, which is kind of like what my goal is, to get people to have fun with it, get moving, feel that endorphin of being able to like do your first push-up, or just go outside and be like the hobbits and go on an adventure, and feel better, because it's not just physical, it's definitely a mental thing. And that's kind of when the wholesome can you guys see the little one back there? She's like trying to hide.
Oh, bless her. she can say hi.
Stevie, you want to wave?
Oh, bless.
Do you want to go in and talk to Mom and see if there's lunch getting ready?
Can you go in the Xbox?
No, not right now, but later, okay? Okay.
Oh,
Precious.
I know. Yeah. So you said you saw that this kind of.
This is going well, Dan. You want to try again?
I got thrown off then.
There was a need
yeah.
of my little community corner of nerds that needed like access to fitness and having fun and kind of gamifying it and making it more of an adventure than like a chore that needed to be checked off a list, or giving that fun motivation of making it like an RPG video game or that type of thing. I saw that there was like a need, because there was always like the anime people that had like Dragon Ball Z or those buff guys in anime, or like Marvel and superheroes. But it's like, where are the Aragon people or the Boromirs that were
That's
inspired by
actually
those people?
that's actually such a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, I can fill that. I
Nice.
can help those people.
But did you
Isn't
ever
the best
think?
feeling where like here there's like a niche here? I'll do it, guys. I got it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like I got it.
But when you say you can fill that, did you ever expect it to be what it is now?
No, absolutely not. It kind of evolved in creating a fun community. Like first, it started with like fun character workouts that people can do at home with like little to no equipment, and then because I was part of like the whole fantasy community, I got fed. I don't know if you know who Quincy's Tavern is.
No.
It's more
I
like
might be the one
fantasy
who
RPG,
watches
but
a
he
lot
does.
of Dungeons and Dragons. Of the two of us, I think I
Okay.
might be
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tank. Go ahead.
But
I
I
didn't
saw
mean to
his
cut you off.
wholesome. It's fine. No, his wholesome point of view content where he would address the viewer and kind of like give a message or like a poem or something. I'm like, I can do that. Just one moment.
It's okay. Don't worry. Bless.
So cute. By the way, I'm curious if like my
Oh,
mic's
no.
still in. Like, am I muted now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Or am I muted now?
No, I can hear you.
Fuck. That means that I'm not actually using my mic. Shit.
Oh,
Okay. Whatever.
it sounds okay.
Well, that's good.
She was just getting into like loud making equipment that would be distracting.
Bless
But
her.
Pull out the drum set.
um,
Start.
yeah, start picking up these swords and hitting
Yeah.
stuff.
Hammering away.
Well, yeah, for Quincy, it was like a light bulb that went on that I could do that. And for me, that was a way for me to work out my own feelings that I needed to get out or feel or address, or messages that helped me get through my hard times in life, or even messages that I needed to hear during those times that I was like, I wish someone would have told me that. That's kind of how it evolved into that, and trying to encapsulate health as a whole instead of just physical. It's like mental, emotional, physical, and even spiritual for some people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is something that's important to put together, that the mental health side of things, but also there is something about working out that clears the mind, or certainly for me anyway. I've always been, active, and I can tell if I go through a period where I'm out of the gym or I'm out of jiu-jitsu or whatever I'm doing at that moment. If I get out of that, I can feel that decline. And as soon as I get back into a good routine, it does help to mellow me out anyway, and just kind of level myself and think a little bit more clear sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes when people feel agitated or like the world's collapsing in, or they have too many tasks they need to complete, it's like that anxiousness and anxiety and kind of pent up feelings. If you were to just like go for a walk, it'll help kind of clear that head, or do a workout and kind of give an outlet to that frustration or feelings. It kind of just clears the air for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've always found, for me anyway, like having the podcast, having the business, my mind's always going 100 miles an hour. There's always something to do. So for me, the best exercises are always the ones where I can't think about anything else. So I know you do a lot of MMA and doing things like, Muay Thai and sparring, where there's that risk element of somebody trying to kick you in the head or hit you.
Yeah.
But it's exercising, but it stops you being able to overthink the world. It almost forces you away from that, because you literally can't, because you've got to
No,
think
you
of
need to
the
focus on the current moment of what's happening. Like, this guy's going for a Darce choke. This is what I need to do to defend that. I don't want to pass out. I have to
exactly
prop my arm up and roll and escape.
And that's what certainly helps me anyway, just kind of get out of those moments of just, because we all need it. We all need that little pick me up sometimes, a little smile,
Yes.
or a hug.
Yeah, or a hug. And definitely a lot of people, they need the community aspect of that as well, whether it's like going out and going to a gym where there's other people that you regularly see or are friends with. Like, I know martial arts is a little more intensive because you're always working with a partner, but even just going out and seeing people and when you're in your own little cloud of darkness at home, it's good to have community. And I think it's initially, when I started, it was during the pandemic and people were looking for that online community. That was definitely a fun thing to foster that I didn't anticipate, especially when I do like the wholesome content, because I can't respond to every comment. One of my favorite things lately is finding people in my community that will just respond to that comment and help lift them up.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, yeah, I'm going through a hard time, my mom just passed away, and then another person will chime in and say, comfort them in some way. That's one of my favorite things to see, is when my community helps lift each other up.
That's beautiful, because the world is so divided right now on everything. It doesn't matter. Insert any topic, no matter how menial it is, people will find a way to bicker and fight and fall out over it.
Yeah, you could say, I love apples.
Someone
will say, what about oranges? What about I can't have apples. I'm allergic to apples. Why am I watching this recipe for apple? It's like, did you have to self-insert yourself? Yeah, you don't have to chime in, and you can just scroll. You don't have to argue. And that circle of negativity, it's just because you get the dopamine hit of someone arguing back and forth, you just kept, like we talked earlier, you just keep getting fed those arguments. It's but when you focus on lifting people up or engaging with good positive content, watch how your algorithm changes. It wants to feed you what you engage with.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, especially trying to stay positive, I try and make a point of engaging with my friends or engaging in good positive content, and not finding those arguments, or just, if something irks me, just try and scroll. Or the only way I will engage in bad content is if my followers need to see the correction, if that makes sense. See that I commented. If someone said, you need to only eat 500 calories a day and it just needs to be chicken breast, I'd be like, no, you don't. Everyone's basal metabolic rate is different. People need to have different macronutrient goals, and you don't need to be limited, blah, 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 blah. So because I comment that, my followers see that, especially on Facebook or other community driven platforms like Threads. It's I want my followers to see the correct thing and not see something that's a crash course diet or restrictive type thing. It's no, you just need to make small, consistent changes, small, consistent steps, and you'll find your way where you need to go.
Do you have a little black book somewhere where you've written all the replies you'd love to tell people to all the because anybody of any size audience, especially 1.7 million just on Instagram alone, there are haters no matter what. You could be the most perfect person in the world, people will hate. So you obviously do get them, and you don't engage with them because you don't want to feed the troll.
Yeah.
But do you have like a little space where you just actually type it all out and just go, and then just put it in a box somewhere and just let it
Sometimes
sit?
it's the funniest. I'll get either pushed to very like traditional blue collar people, or I will get pushed to like a certain demographic of like teenage men
Okay.
that like to comment like, this is a grown man, what is he doing, like this guy's dressing up, or it's cringe.
Yeah.
I'm just like, so like internally I'm like, I have a wife, I have a house, I have 3 kids that love me, a loving family. I have everything on your checklist that defines someone as a grown adult. But I'm making a living providing positivity and impacting my community in a positive way. So what's your definition of being a grown adult? Like, yeah, it's I think with that, it's like they were told a certain definition of what it means to be a man or a grown adult, and they see someone that's doing it differently, and either they have the insecurity of it being something that they wish they did, or they just don't understand that that's possible. But yeah, that's most of the negative I get, but it's so definitely drowned out by the positive comments that I receive.
That's so wonderful. I feel like I don't often hear that when it comes to big creators like that, or like creators who have that big of an audience. That usually it's like, oh, I do see the positive, but like sometimes it gets overwhelmed by the negative. But like that's so. I mean, that speaks to your craft, man. Like how good you are at what you do.
Yeah, and I think it's because I've been doing good positive content for so long. Like you said, the one guy commented, and I've had messages and comments like that. I used to think you were cringe, like I would almost make fun of you to my friends. But then I got one of those messages when I needed it most, and then I understood why you do it, or that type of thing.
Yeah, and I think people want to make fun of things that they don't necessarily understand, or it's not like the norm, quote unquote. Like when I first started making drinking horns for a living, I was playing rugby at the time, and nobody in my team understood what it was. But I was going to stop playing rugby to stop being a plumber and make drinking horns for a living and build this company. And everyone's like, that's ridiculous, that's not going to work. They made fun of it. But then 5 years down the line, when it becomes a business and it's doing well, and in your case, your following has grown, it's become bigger, it's become your career, people then change their opinion. The same people change, and they kind of go, oh, actually, it was viable, you could do it, you did do it, and there is this huge net good that comes from it.
Yeah. And I will say there was, I think it was 2022 where I was like redlining it for a while, and there was that, is this going to work? And there was stress like with finances, trying to figure out, how is this viable? And then that's when I first like came out with my workout application for your phone, where I compiled all of those character workouts. I organized them, put them in a nice package, and kept it at a very affordable price point for my community. And when I released that, it changed everything. It was like all of a sudden that the community showed up for me, and I'm just extremely grateful that that kind of snowballed into this being something that provides for me and my family. And yeah, I just couldn't. I'm blessed beyond what I could even understand before, because I grew up poor, never had means, never had the nice new things, never had that. So being able to give some of that to my kids, or being able to say yes instead of being like, I don't know, we'll have to see, sort of thing, is just I'm very grateful that what I'm doing is impacting people enough that they're able to give back, even if it's just views, because some platforms do pay for
Yeah.
pay for views. So even just having people comment and having people engage with the content enough that it does reflect monetary value, not just those people that do subscribe to the application or want like one-on-one coaching and things like that. Just people supporting for free does help pay the bills. So if you do enjoy a creator, watch a video twice or comment on it or save it or just share it to your friends. It does, that snowballing effect does help keep those creators going, because yeah, it's definitely hard. It's a lot harder than people think.
I like on even on a much smaller scale on my own personal Instagram. I make kind of historical videos, and I try and put. It started out different places I visited that I do a little video about the history behind it, and then I was like, well, actually, I do a podcast about Viking stuff. Maybe I should use that knowledge I've learned and make videos correcting a lot of the misinformation that's out there. But even I struggle keeping motivated, because you put a video out and then you look at the views and you're like, nice, and then you put another one out and then it's like half of that, and you're like, I don't know what I did wrong now. So you quickly become unmotivated, because it is that kind of game and you want to do better. So I don't know how you've managed to that motivation, especially like you said, when you didn't know if it was going to work. You were in that moment. It until it kind of works, it's such a stressful environment.
Yes. And it's like, there was a point like on TikTok, I think I had over 1 million followers on one account, and TikTok just banned it. Like
Oh,
it, it got some strikes or whatever, and then like a moderator looked through my content and was like, yeah, no. Then they clicked the button and banned my account. So I lost like 1 million followers. And
is that for like sword based stuff? I feel like
I
that's
believe it was.
yeah.
Yeah, and just the wrong person reviewed the content and didn't see it was.
Mm.
They thought it was like dangerous. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like trying to start over from that was really difficult. But luckily, I had built a decent amount of community, either like friends within the cosplay community or people that I like invited on the ship. My
Yeah.
fictional ship. They made a video saying Tank's account got banned. This is his new account, or just like reached out and like sent their community my way, and it just kind of like I bounced back from that. But it was like that would have been a point where it would have been, I wouldn't say easy to quit, but that would have been a point where I would have been like, okay, maybe this isn't worth doing anymore. Because for those of you out there, it's not as easy to be a content creator than you might think. Because yeah, you will. I look back on some of my content, I'm like, oh, did I really do that? Or like, you cringe at yourself because you're like, but if you didn't do that and do it consistently, you wouldn't be where you are at right now. So you can't judge other people's like end result or final videos or other people's end part of their journey when you're just taking your first few steps. So you just have to just keep going, keep forging forward, and yeah, just stay consistent, because you don't know what works until what does.
Mhm.
It's kind of impossible to predict almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I have a friend who, Lloyd, a good friend of mine. He has an account where he's into mace swinging. So I've seen you have like an adjustable one. So that's his, very much into like, runs a mace competition, does a lot of flows with old traditional maces, all like with sledgehammers, and he puts like, tons of content out there. And the other day, for whatever reason, one from like 2 years ago kind of blew up a bit, and then some people guys took it and put it in some Facebook groups, and it got popular on there. And it's like, why that one? What is it about that particular one? It's just him dance, like I guess doing a flow with a sledgehammer to Johnny Cash, and he got tons of comments and tons of hate in the comments of like calling him American, even though he's from Liverpool. They were like, "What's this cringy Yank country?" And it's like, no, he's a Scouser that's into maze flows, but for some reason, but that hate, unfortunately, pumps it up.
Yeah, like to the fellow creators out there, it's like, don't get discouraged by hate comments, because that's just helping you.
Yeah. Feed the algorithm.
It's helping you grow your platform. Like, yeah, they may share it to their hateful friends back and forth, but one of those friends might be actually interested in your content secretly or whatever. It's like they're just helping your content get pushed further. And some people might not like that, but in the end, it's like you're gonna find your community by the content that you put out consistently. So
I had that's just reminded me. Meg's just reminded me in the chat. I had a video that it was on TikTok about the Alamo, and for whatever reason, adjacent to that, I think like a meme or something happened with that just referenced the Alamo. But then when people searched for the Alamo, my video, for whatever reason, was like the next one down, and it just got really popular for no reason other than there was this other meme that was like had something to do with it. But then also my somebody commented a little clip of an egg man with legs from the from something. It was just like a little egg with legs, and my lovely friend thought that was somebody making fun of me and didn't look that it was actually from the original video that mine just happened to be next to, and I thought I was like a little egg guy.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's strange kind of what just picks up, and you can't. I imagine as well you probably benefited, like you said, from a lot of those cringe comments, like especially in the early days of you starting out, people just been like, this is cringe, just because it does pump it up, it gets people on board, and then people come back and change their opinions later on.
I distinctly remember one video. It was like the Soldier Poet King song, and like a whole bunch of people in like the fantasy cosplay community, because TikTok you can stitch and it just like, or you can duet and it builds like a collage of like a whole bunch of people in the same thing. That got pushed out to those people that called it cringe, and it blew up everyone's video. And obviously there was some hate, but then again, there, like I said earlier, you're going to find more of your community because of that. Yeah. You just can't. Don't stop because someone says no or tells you to stop.
I kind of love the like picturing like this group chat or something with like people sending it for rage bait, and then like a couple people just like being like, low-key, I'm actually kind of like into this. I'm gonna give them a follow, but like on the down low, so like my friends won't necessarily know, but like thanks, I guess, for letting me know.
Yeah, that 100% happens.
But I mean, I've noticed it with articles and things recently, or people will put up polls and they'll miss out like one of the numbers, or they'll spell something wrong, and it's all on purpose, just so people correct them in the comments. And that stuff infuriates me so much. And you see so many people commenting, and I'm like, are you all not understanding the game here?
Yeah. Or they'll purposely say a word wrong, or like the translated word wrong, or put like 4 cups of flour instead of like 4 tablespoons in a recipe. Just for that. It's like, oops, sorry, I messed up on purpose. So you will correct me and then push the video out.
Do you,
But
has there ever been any temptation to fall into that category or to put anything controversial out there that might boost things further?
I would say like, yeah, there's some always temptation trying to like game algorithms or put things out. I would say the closest thing I do to that is when I'd say like my scouts send me cool videos of people doing stuff, and sometimes those videos are very viral and I get tagged 1,000 times. It's like, okay, obviously I'll make a video about this cool guy doing something and bringing him on the ship, or this cool bladesmith forged a very cool Damascus sword that I think is awesome. So I'm going to like fetch the treasury and pay the man, so to speak. But one of the coolest things about doing those videos is, one, I get to become friends with those people because they think it's cool. And two, it's like boosting sometimes smaller creators to send my community their way. So it's like a person that's like doing a cool sword flow or some throwing axes, they get welcomed into my community, and my community goes and follows them and likes their videos and comments, and they get a small boost from that. But kind of like referencing back earlier when my account got banned, bladesmiths and blacksmiths do get a ton of flags on their content just because of what they do. So there's been more than a few times where I've like featured a bladesmith or a blacksmith, and they're like, you just kept the lights on by putting that video because I got 2 orders for knives, or someone just bought a sword or wants to order a sword and put a deposit down. It's like that kept the lights on this month. Thank you for doing that, because Instagram's been hiding my content lately, and I've had a handful of those, and that's just like another cool unintended result of making content that I didn't anticipate.
It's so frustrating because we're obviously through Hornswogden and we sell axes, saxes and knives, and you can't post them on your Instagram because they just flag it, and everything else then gets limited. But you can pay them to advertise it. That's okay.
Because then
you can,
if you're giving them money, they'll happily take it. Yeah.
If it's part of your advertising budget, then you can advertise your axes and your, and it's like
so cynical.
Yeah.
So freaking cynical.
What's this about? This doesn't feel quite right.
You know what, Dan? I keep coming back to this sometimes, but you know what it is? It's capitalism. Like, not to go there, but it is. And then I'll leave it for the rest of the episode. I'm good now. But
and to give you a little plug, this is the
format
you made me.
Look at it.
Yeah, I mean, you must have so much.
Yes.
You must get sent so much stuff. It must be. Well, yeah. I mean, if you feature somebody's work in your video, I imagine most times they're probably like, would you like one of these, or would you like this?
Yeah, sometimes, like, especially when it comes to like featuring cool blacksmiths and bladesmiths, some people have sent me stuff, but when they're forging it by hand, like a sword is like $5,000 to $10,000. I can't take that from you. That's like a Damascus layer sword that, like, the cool things that I feature are very expensive. I'm not going to ask for it. Some people have sent me some cool like knives and things, but yeah. And like I get tagged in a lot of like Chinese reproduction videos where they just like, they want to like put on the ships and vigor song. And it's like this stamped out thing, like whether it's like a sword or something, and it's just like from a Chinese manufacturer. It's like No, I want to feature people that forge it by hand, like a small creator that needs the boost or needs the exposure, instead of like, I get tagged in so many of those on TikTok. It's ridiculous. They just put on the Viking song, and it's like this crazy sword that wouldn't last if you swung it twice.
So just like kind of cheaply produced, mass produced stuff.
Yes, yeah.
How does it work with? Because are you able to copyright your image, or do you? Is it a case if anybody ever tries to just do what you do, or use kind of your thing to try and sell their item? Because even with our horns, we get our photos taken all the time by predominantly like Indian companies that will just take our photos and they'll send them to their customers, say, would you like to buy this?
Yeah.
And they're going to try and make it. But I guess your likeness, is that ever,
I haven't run across it.
Anything?
Like, I haven't run across it yet, but with like AI booming lately, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. Like, I know a few creators that have had their likenesses used in their like video or their voice copied and spammed out to try and sell something weird. And also, I'm not very technically minded at all, so I don't know. Like, even with like all the copycat accounts that are out there, yeah, it's a problem being a content creator and having your stuff stolen and reposted and then monetized, and then having your community being preyed upon these people trying to like solicit funds or information. It's a real problem, especially on like Facebook.
Well, Jennifer in the chat has just said that she's been contacted by Tank's PR team to talk to him on private messenger for a fee.
Yep. That definitely happens a lot. And Meta doesn't care really, because it's just another person getting views and having their platform monetized. And capitalism.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Long story short.
And there's not really much you can do, I guess, but obviously you don't want your image being damaged, because some people, will unfortunately fall for it. Otherwise they wouldn't do it, would they?
Yeah. And like, I do post out there, this is my only account. I don't have a private account. I don't have a team. It's just me. I don't have a PR team. It's just me. So please practice internet safety. Yeah.
That's a lot for you to do just on your own, because I think that's the other thing that people look in and probably see your success and the finished product of what it is today, with 6 million plus followers and the polished image. Especially if they're new to it, it's easy to look at them like, oh, it must be that must be nice, must be easy, because they haven't seen the followed the journey and seen it, but then they don't see the behind the scenes of you recording it and having to edit it and make sure it's right, and the tweaking it and making, I don't know whether you make thumbnails for some stuff or not, but all this stuff, and even just coming up with the idea for the content, that pressure that comes with it of just always having to do that and kind of take that on your own, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's no roadmap or guidebook or textbook on how to become a content creator. A lot of people try and sell it.
But you see those adverts all the time of people.
Yeah, there's, especially if you have very niched content like mine, where it's like fantasy fitness nerds and wholesome Viking-ish-esque. No one's done it before, so it's like, what might work for this fashion blogger trying to like sell a course? It won't work for everyone. So it's just, you got to stay consistent and do what speaks to you, and hopefully it speaks to your audience. And it's just hard to it's hard. It's not easy, but me, it's like, my message comes from a point of from the heart and wanting to help people and change people's lives for the better.
Mhm.
So I found a way to express that and kind of tap into those feelings myself that I've either been hiding. Like my wife, we had this conversation the other day. It was like, my content has helped me get through some things that I needed to work through, along with helping other people do the same. Because I wasn't just this wise old sage. I'm 35. I wasn't like this.
Hey, less of the old then, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
older.
Yeah. It's like it's helping me go through my own journey of working through my own traumas and things that I went through. And to the point of this mug or this horn mug, the design actually means a lot more than you realize, because on one side, the wolf is
Mhm.
representative of my brothers who passed away, and on the other side is the bear, which is me. So
Oh wow.
definitely means a lot. And like when I lost my brothers, it was like a formative age. When I was like 15 was my oldest brother. And he was like the guy I looked up to when it came to like being that superhero, or the
Mhm.
guy that was very charismatic and very like you wanted to be him. And when he passed away when I was 15, it was like a very hard time because we had to move towns, and because parents got divorced and had to like
Yeah.
go through that. And then when the other brother passed away, I was 20. So I became this like emotional, I'd call like mountain, where I just like shut down and didn't like
Oh, okay.
feel
Yeah.
everything. I pushed everyone to the outside. It was mostly like superficial friends and not like connecting with people on a deeper level, because it was like you don't want to let people in, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found the communities on TikTok, and um, it unknowingly broke down some of those walls and some of those barriers, and creating content found a way for me to express those feelings and those messages that I needed to hear, or uh, that I was like, I wish someone told me that when I was going through that hard
Mm-hmm.
time, when I was in that dark place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the messages are genuine.
Yeah.
They come from a place of my own trauma and hurt and suffering and depression, and so it's like I think that's another reason why it's connected so well with
Yeah.
so many people.
Mm-hmm. But it's but that's why they're so popular, because they are genuine. And I think, humans have a built-in bullshit detector for the most part. We
Yeah,
can tell when something's just not quite right, or something's not quite authentic, and we just kind of know there's the feeling, there's something.
Something's a bit iffy.
And
something's off.
yeah,
yeah,
and that's why your content does become as big as it is, because it comes from, you can see it in your eyes. You can see, like I say, I've scrolled through a bunch of your stuff today just to recap, and you can see sometimes when you're talking about the deeper meanings, you're welling up. You're clearly an emotional, caring, giving person, and what you're saying isn't just, I'm going to say it because I want people to to watch it or click on it. And yes, they're good, they're benefit from those things, but you actually want to touch people first and foremost, and that's clear, and that's so important. And I think that's what you learn going through these traumas.
just 1 second.
It's all right. I don't know.
So sweet.
I know. I can only see. I can only see the
Yeah,
main
me
ones, I
too.
don't
But
see
just
the.
hearing the little voices in the background, I'm just like, oh, melt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that anybody who who goes through those difficult times, it shapes you. It changes you as a person. I went through losing someone to suicide, and I am not the same person today as I was prior to that. The day before that, and like 3 days after that, I changed as a human, but just not just on like the closing off the mental health side. I instantly became more empathetic to life and to understand. It just tweaked me as a human, and I think when you go through those, then for my instance, and especially obviously in yours, like you kind of want to help people a little bit more and do the kindness. And I think a lot of us maybe get lost along the way because you get caught up in life and it becomes difficult, whereas you've stuck to it and kind of made it a career from doing good. And not many people can say that, and I think that's such what more beautiful job is there than being able to make people smile, be that hand that we both know people need at a moment, we've needed, and a lot of people listening to this have needed. That's a special thing to do, and it's a lot of responsibility to it as well.
Yeah. It's a burden I happily bear because I just need to, like I said, it's helped me on my own journey of dealing with things that I either put on the shelf and tried to forget about, or said maybe I'll deal with this later. Or when you go through things at like a young formative age, like certain traumas, I've noticed that it's hard to like look forward to things because your future is uncertain. So you just deal with the stress of the certain moment. So I can never say that word right, but like putting things on a shelf and saying I'll deal with it later, and trying to just
Compartmentalize. Is that what
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You should address those feelings as they're happening and feel it in the moment and let yourself feel it, and then work through it as soon as you can. Don't try and put it off.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I don't know, I'm sure Mags, you're probably the same. Like I been so busy, obviously, Mags, again with you, with your studies and work, you get so caught up in the next thing that for me, say we're working on releasing a mead, I'm so caught up in that and the money I've spent on that and the developing, and I'm just so stressed thinking about that all the time that I forget about the now and the today and the tomorrow, and just to be grateful for the things that I have. And I have lovely people around me who sometimes just say like, just appreciate I guess what you have, because it's so easy to look for the next thing, the bigger thing. What's the next challenge? Certainly for me anyway, because I'm very goal driven. I want to get to the next thing, and you lose that kind of just to sit back and go, you know what, like I'm doing all right.
Yeah. And like even social, like being a part of social media, even as just like a regular person or as a content creator, you're constantly flooded with other people's perfection. It's other people's highlight reels. It's other people's. So you're constantly trying to compare yourself to them. Like me being in the fitness space, especially, is like people being like ripped and shredded, or like being able to deadlift 1,000 pounds or like
510 kilos.
Yeah. It's like it's hard not to compare yourself to those people, especially when you're trying to exist in those spaces. But one of the biggest things that I've had to overcome, especially lately, because I've gone through some significant injuries in the past few years, is like, despite how I feel about how I look or comparing myself to others, my community needs what I have to offer, like more on the fitness side of things. Because when I was going through those injuries, I more was like relying on that wholesome content. But me coming from personal training, it's like it's really hard not to compare yourself to the other people's like on stage physiques and just highly edited photos or perfect angles. It's like my community isn't there for me to be that. They're there for me to help them take that first step and help them with their journey. It's like it's hard not to compare yourself to be like that billboard person. But
I think the most important thing is the fact that you openly say that, though, because nobody else does. Everybody's feeling that, whether it's me looking at your stuff, or you looking at Larry Wheels, maybe, or somebody like that. Like it's all a spectrum, isn't it? And it's a level. Everybody's looking at somebody else, but nobody really sits there and says, "This is how I'm feeling." Maybe these images aren't what you think they are as well. Maybe nobody can. A lot of these shoots, nobody can look like that 24/7. They've shredded themselves. They've
and they feel horrible. Like they feel terrible while they're doing it. But so
that moment, it's like you've caught a moment where they've had to struggle to get into position and cut the weight, and they can hardly hold their heads up but the picture looks good.
Yes.
But not everybody sees that, and even you probably still get caught out by it, and that you see a picture and you go, yeah, but they look good, don't they?
Yeah, like especially being a part and knowing obviously respect the effort it does to get to that point, and obviously, but the majority of the population just needs to feel better. They just need to feel better, like keep up with their kids at the park, or they want to go on a hike and not feel like they're gonna die, or participate in life. Their goal is not to become a shredded 250-pound muscle monster. Like the majority of people just need the ability to function in life, feel healthy, feel the benefits of feeling better. And that's one thing that I've had to overcome recently, trying to get myself back to posting more fitness related content to motivate my community to feel better.
Yeah.
So
but that message on its own is important and speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something there, Max? Or did I interrupt you? Oh, I thought I jumped in. Let's should we wrap up the main show, and then we can let people ask you a few questions, and then let you get on with your day.
Yeah,
because I don't want to keep you for too long.
This is usually the problem we have, Tank, is that Dan and I are having such a good time and having such a wonderful conversation that we're like, oh crap, we're keeping them way longer than we said we would. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could sit here and talk to you for another hour, because I think I think we're just starting to touch some nice bits and pieces that are people need to hear it, and but yeah, it is a Sunday as well.
Well, part of the reason I wanted to do this is to let people see a little bit more of the real me, if that makes sense. Pull back the curtain of the persona, and yes, it's me with an accent and a costume on, but it's this is the person behind the creator. This is the person that makes the content.
but speaking for Max as well, I really appreciate that you trusted us to kind of, because you said before that we were the first podcast that you've done the D&D stuff. It means a lot to us to be kind of trusted that we're gonna represent you well. We're gonna have a good conversation. We're gonna get on and have this kind of nice little repertoire. It's it means a lot. So thank you for kind of putting that trust in for us to lift the curtain.
Yeah,
to be the curtain raisers.
Yeah, first curtain raisers. Yeah, no, and I appreciate, because I have watched a few of the podcasts, and I'm this seems like a good comfortable way to get into it. I know I'm not gonna like get blindsided or whatever. So no,
Yeah.
it's very
That's not usually our
welcoming.
jam. We don't like to
no.
do that.
Mhm.
You don't want the clickbait clips.
But here's the
No,
funny
I-
thing. Dan and I have legit had conversations where we're like, how could we make stuff that could get the same response as stuff that's clickbait, but that it isn't actually produced as clickbait, you know? We'd be like,
Mhm.
is that even
Yeah.
possible? Could we just find sound bites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get the reach
Yeah.
further?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, especially with creating content for so long, the clickbait will get the views, but it won't get you community.
You won't get
Yeah.
the longevity.
And community
Yeah.
is what you want. It's longevity.
And the community it does get you is just going to be a cesspit of people who are just there to
Yeah.
argue. It's not those who are going to, in the moments when you need, if you had a moment where you couldn't make content for a period of time, I'm sure that your community would be there and they would support you and help you through. And that's a beautiful thing, and kind of you reap what you put out into the world.
Yeah.
I fully believe that, and that's kind of what you're getting back.
Yeah. And if I had to say one thing that would help resonate to listeners is if you're going through a hard time, find somebody else that you can help lift up, because it'll lift you up at the same time. When you're all consumed with what's going wrong or what's wrong in your life, helping someone else to get through what they need will help you get through your own thing. And there's probably a better way to say that, but
you know what? But
No.
that's so true though. You know what's funny? Like just kind of right at the end here. That quote is so true, and I remember that resonated with me from a really early age because I found this very random kind of niche fantasy book at my elementary school library that now as an adult I'm like, I don't really know why that book was in an elementary school library, but whatever, it was a different time. Where this whole first part of the book talks about our main character who's going to become, a grown woman later on, but she's in kind of a harrowing situation. And one of the first things that we learn about this character is that she is frantically looking for her doll, because if she finds her doll, she can be brave for the doll's sake, because then she can protect the doll. But if she just is there on her own, she's just going to be scared. She needs to find someone she can be brave for. And I almost like as a 10-year-old, I was like, "That's deep, man. That's really deep." And so it's so true.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful place to just wrap this up, and we'll let.
Is that Rocco in the background?
Rocco's got wet.
Oh,
He's become demon wet dog is what he's become. He's got my slipper, and he's just Rocco. No, he doesn't want to say hello. I'm gonna follow this up after the show with you. But have you ever been to the UK? Once, because we're working on something with someone, and I think you would be a great little addition to it. I think you would be a fantastic thing. But I'll message you privately, because it would be. I think it could be something that you'd really like as well.
Yeah, let's stop that there.
But. Yeah, no, it is really cool, but I can't actually say.
Stop. Period.
There's your clickbait tip.
Yep. There we go. Yeah. So Tank, thank you so much for joining us. Not that you. Hang on, let me grab this. No.
It's just being Dennis the Menace.
He's got my slipper in his mouth, and he's just going insane. Come on, come here. I'll be 1 second. Let me go get him.
Sure.
It's really funny because the personalities of Dan and I's respective dogs are like, I feel, on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Granted, Rocco's much younger than my dog, but when Rocco's like going crazy in the background, my dog is usually somewhere within eyesight, just like passed out.
Just mellow.
He's super mellow. Something. Yeah, he doesn't even respond when I call his name.
Cute.
Oh, look at him!
Yeah. So this is he got a little bit wet, and he's just
Freaking out. Wet zoomies.
Anybody who's ever had a dog that's got wet knows what happens to dogs when they get wet. But he's
Everything else
in it-
gets wet.
Yep.
yeah, he's in timeout now. But Tank, not that, like I said, not that you need the plug, but if you want to shout out where people can follow you.
Everywhere. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads. Yeah, if you're on that platform, you'll find me, and I'm verified on all of them except TikTok. Yeah. But yeah, make sure you're following the right one.
Yeah. Big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Max, where can people find you? He's just decided to go complete chaos now.
You can find me on you can find me on Instagram at archeobags, archeo with a K. Your turn, Dan.
I actually wish I could turn the camera and show you just what he's doing. Because he's literally just running back and forwards. Okay. All right. If you want to follow me, it's Daniel_Farrand1. Horns of Odin for the business. Nordic Mythology podcast across the board. Go check it out on YouTube. And that's it. Rocco says goodbye.